Chicano ideas, culture is power, history is knowledge. Chicano ideas is for every Chicano because I want to hear your ideas. Yeah, I share my ideas, but this is for the ideas of all Chicanos. And about 7 years ago in 2015, I dropped my first video. And this video about Corkey Gonzalez, Rudolfo, is long overdue. And so I got my notes down so I could remember it. So let's go. He was born June 18th, 1928, and he passed away 2005. He was 76 years old. But Corkey graduated high school and he went to the University of Denver. He was a boxer. 65 wins, 9 losses, 11 KOs. He's a Hall of Famer out in Colorado. He was a Golden Gloves winner. He was ranked the best top 3 fighters within the country, and supposedly from reading the top 5 best fighters across the world within his weight division, featherweight and lightweight. Corkey Gonzalez was a great boxer and he won titles. But at the time when he won these WBC titles, WBC was not considered major league. It was still minor league. But yes, minor leagues are professional, right? Triple A, baseball, double A. So he won these bouts. After he retired, WBC became a major league acceptable title, unfortunately. But he's still a professional. He was a top 5, they say, across the world, like number 2 within the country at his weight division. Corkey Gonzalez is like our Muhammad Ali, unknowingly. So Corkey Gonzalez was a political organizer. He became a poet, and he's known for the Crusade of Justice in Denver, which he started in about 66. Supposedly it ran through the 70s, which is betterment. The Crusade for Justice was known as like the walkouts of the high school of West Side High out in Colorado. He's known for that, organizing high school kids and college kids at the time to understand the history, the political laws, and just being Chicano, the Crusade for Justice. So he's known to be the political organizer of his time. He's one of the most underrated Chicanos that gets no respect. He don't get no respect. He don't get the honor, I believe, that he should be recognized. Corkey Gonzalez, he is the one who created or started the Chicano Memorial Auditorium in Colorado, and it became, this one was in LA, one back over there. He's known for writing I Am Joaquin, which is basically talking about being a Chicano here in the States, being Mexican, so-called American.
Starting screensaver.
Starting screensaver. But Corkey Gonzalez, he was also, that's right, he was a part of the Poor People campaign. Martin Luther King asked Corkey Gonzalez, people of the Chicano movement, to join the Poor People campaign. And after Martin Luther King passed away, Martin Luther King's brother or brother-in-law tried to take his place while Corkey Gonzalez became a lead in the Poor People campaign. But they feel like because Martin Luther King passed away, that the Poor People campaign did not work out the way it was supposed to. And from reading, Corkey Gonzalez and Martin Luther King's brother-in-law, I believe, were not seen eye to eye somewhat. He wasn't running it the way that he agreed with MLK. But, and supposedly, when I read about, when I see, because he passed away in 2005, so you could go watch the Chicano movement documentaries that happened in the early 2000s, and he's talking about it. And, one of the things I think he said was the reason why he stopped campaigning so much was because they got what they wanted. They wanted more Chicano teachers and Chicano noticement within the education system of the United States. And he said they received that. There was more Chicano teachers. There was, the Chicano, you could take Chicano studies now in college, and all this stuff being more accepted within the school system of the United States. So that's one of the reasons I believe he said he stopped from watching it. But and I think also because you gotta I don't know, I can't remember if they were talking. I think I seen a documentary of some Chicano saying something maybe, but I do know even from my own assumption is because when you see people like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Robert Kennedy, Martin Luther King's brother got killed, his mom, like being a revolutionary, an activist in those days was dangerous. And what could that have played one of the reasons why that a lot of these Chicanos, didn't pursue the movement as strong after the 80s. In the 90s, obviously, we know during the 80s, a lot of the gangs picked up, crack era, et cetera, et cetera. So Corky Gonzalez to me is one of the heroes of the Chicano movement. He is, to me, should be replace Cesar Chavez. He's done so much, and when you read about his history, just those are the top things that you're really gonna find about Corky Gonzalez that I name. You know, he's Corky Gonzalez to me could have been somebody stronger for the people if he would have continued. He was more of a nationalist. He was more what they call, you know, he's a revolutionary at the same time. He was someone that they don't, I feel like to talk about within the Chicano community because he was so much against the United States. He wanted his own. He was a nationalist state of mind. So to me, Corky Gonzalez is one of the top heroes. I Am Joaquin. If you ever read that, it's a great poem. It's a great read. You read about how much influence he had at the time with so much stuff like the Crusade for Justice and being a part of the Poor People's Campaign and writing books and going across the country being a political organizer. So I mean, Corky Gonzalez, I will only if I was at the time aware of this knowledge, but when Corky Gonzalez died in 2005, I was barely 14 years old. I was going to turn 15 that year. And I think I do remember hearing about Rudolf Corky Gonzalez passing away when I think about it. And when you think about it, who or how many leaders from that era are still alive? We know we got Dolores is still alive, but I see that, Corky Gonzalez is just not acknowledged as I feel like he should be for Chicano culture of studies. Other than that, Chicanos, what do you think about Corky Gonzalez? Who is your favorite Chicano leader of those times of the 70s and 80s? Other than that, culture is power, history is knowledge. Read the shirt.